everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video. This is going to be another kind of niche video and we're going to focus on postgraduate study and postgraduate applications in the UK. I wanted to do this video because I'm going through this process right now. I'm kind of somewhat at the end of it now. I am currently in my final year at uni studying psychology. I applied to study a master's course and I got an offer and now I'm on track to be going on to that master's course next September. And yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride, not gonna lie. So I thought I'd share and maybe some of you guys will take some inspiration from it and like get some info on how postgrad applications work, because it is a bit different to undergraduate applications. And I am also going to talk about a few ways to go after undergraduate study, so stay tuned. Firstly, ways to go after you finished your undergrad degree. I've got three main categories of ways you can go. Postgraduate study. So within postgraduate study, there's master's courses, postgraduate diplomas, and postgraduate certificates. So in terms of a postgraduate certificate, that is like the lowest you can get in terms of out of all the postgraduate degrees. It is still a certificate, it is still something you work towards, but it's only 60 credits. So that means it's usually shorter than a postgraduate diploma or master's because those are more credits. So a certificate is usually more focused on a niche area. So say you did nursing for your undergrad and then you go on to do a postgraduate certificate in like a specialized area of nursing. So, I don't know, you focus on people with autism, people with ADHD, something along those lines. So those are very like niche, specialized things, but they are shorter than the other two. In terms of a postgraduate diploma, it's a bit more credits. So it's 120 credits, double the certificate. And it's just under the master's, which is 180 credits. So the difference between the diploma and the master's is just, as I observed, it's just the dissertation aspect or thesis. So in a master's degree, you do all the same modules as the postgraduate diploma, but with an extra module that is like a big research project that you do. And also worth mentioning that obviously there are doctorate degrees out there, so PhDs, and I can't think of another example right now. There is the ClinSci, which is like a doctorate of clinical psychology. In terms of PhDs, you don't necessarily have to do a master's to go onto a PhD. You can apply for a PhD after your undergrad. However, I know some PhDs prefer that you have that master's research element, because a doctorate degree, a PhD, is very much research based. So there are some out there, like the Doctorate of Clinical Psychology, where you do work alongside and you do training for work. However, for a normal PhD, is a lot of just research and doing different kinds of research and putting that together in your big research. There is that route, but just be aware that they might not accept you straight away because a lot of them look for a master's degree first. Second way to go, work, which I guess it can be a bit self-explanatory. Obviously you can just, you know, if you have a part-time job at undergrad, you can just make that full-time if they let you. However, there are graduate jobs out there, which means they pay a bit more than your average part-time job would, which is nice. And also they are looking for you to have that degree. As far as I've seen, the lowest they like expect from people is a 2-2. For a master's degree, it's usually a 2-1. However, all the offers I got were expecting a 2-2. Don't worry if you don't get a first or a 2-1. you can still try and apply and they might have you. There are also graduate schemes. So this is usually where it's basically a graduate job, but instead of having one specific role that you work in, they might have you rotate around different departments in the company and get you to, you know, have an experience in all those departments, see which one you like the best, and then you have a guaranteed job at the end. And with the graduate schemes, they do also focus on more training you and getting you perhaps a postgraduate diploma alongside working. Employers do fund that sometimes, so just look out for things, because who knows, you might get a free diploma alongside. And the last way to go is a gap year. You could have taken a gap year, you know, after college, in terms of your uni years, but you know, you can also just take a gap year after your final year at uni, because I'm letting you have that now. Uni was hard, okay? I know it was. I know it is. I'm in it right now. And you can just take a break and rest if you want. Obviously, there are, you know, financial sides of things. Not everyone can afford to take a gap year. However, in terms of the gap year, it might just mean you keep working your part-time job, you save up a bit and travel, or you just rest and relax. You can do whatever you want, really. Now going more into today's focus, which is applications for master's degrees. And I'm just gonna put it out there now, this is all based on my research and my experience with it. So obviously I am doing psychology, and I was looking at masters in forensic psychology, forensic science, and criminal investigation, and those kind of areas. However, I did research a lot. I did go through a lot of different graduate sites before narrowing down what I was kind of interested in, because I did not know what way I want to go. And with psychology being really a broad thing, like you can apply it to any area of work, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So if you're in the same boat, what I recommend is just type in master's courses, postgraduate courses, and sit there for hours and go through every single one of those pages and just open in a new tab the ones you think you like. And then once you went through all those pages, I know it takes a long time, but if you don't know what you want to do, you might not even know like some of the stuff exists out there. Me with criminal investigation, I don't know, it never crossed my mind that you know, I could go and do that as a master's. But having found that throughout all those pages, I was like, oh, this is something I might actually be interested in. When you've got all those tabs open, you go through each one and you can just close them based on if you find something that you don't like. And that's how I narrowed it down. It is a long process, but it helps. It does help. And make sure to use filters on websites. Say if you know you want to do part-time, you want to do full-time, you want to do distance learning, which I was looking at. And distance learning means you don't have to go into uni. It's like online learning basically, and you don't have to move there. You can stay where you are. Once you've chosen the course or courses you want to do, you can start applying. And there's actually no limit on how many master's courses you can apply for. However, make sure to keep a track of it. So I noted everything down in my Notions page. I made sure I knew like if they got back to me yet, if they didn't, if they like gave me an offer, what the offer was. So in terms of what offer you might get, obviously you might get rejected. It's part of the process. However, I don't think it's that common unless you're really missing a key aspect of qualifications they're looking for or experience. So say if you want to do a specialized area of law, but you haven't done a law degree, you've done creative writing, I don't think they would accept you. So make sure you look at the entry criteria, entry requirements, because usually there's all the information you need there. You might get a conditional offer or you might get an unconditional offer. So this is basically the same as undergrad. A conditional means if you reach a certain level of your degree, so like a 2-2, 2-1, then you're on the course. And an unconditional means as long as you finish your degree, you're on the course. That aspect is basically the same as undergraduate applications. However, as I've said, there's no limit on how many masters you apply for. Also, you apply directly to the university. You can't apply for multiple courses at the same university. However, if you apply to 10 different universities on 10 different courses, that's fine. You don't have to restrict it to 5 universities. There's no limit on universities, but there is limit on courses at the universities, if that makes sense. Okay, lastly, the finance side of things. If you go on to do a postgraduate diploma or certificate, as far as I know, there is no financial support from the government. So at undergrad, you had your student loan, your tuition fee loan, and your maintenance loan, if you were lucky enough to get that. And with postgraduate study, you just have the master's loan, which is tuition fee and maintenance in one. And it's 12,000 and something. I'll put the current figure up here because I can't remember it on the top of my head. But it is that much. And from that, you get that into your bank account, and you have to pay your tuition fee for your master's course, and the rest is to support with your living. So technically, you do have to work alongside master's courses. Obviously, with undergraduate degree, I know most people are working part-time alongside them because cost of living crisis and it's not been fun. However, with masters, it's even worse. Your master's course could cost 12,000 and something, or it could cost 9,000 and something, 6,000 and something. It really depends on the course, and you might not have any left of your loan because it might just go all into tuition fee. You might have to add extra to it to cover your tuition fee. So just make sure when you're looking at your courses, obviously that, you can afford it. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but there's no standard cost for master's courses like it was for undergrad. So it can be literally any amount of money. And as I've said, that master's loan is only for master's courses. So if you're doing a diploma or certificate, unless you're getting it funded by your employer, there are also bursaries out there. So again, just have to research. In terms of bursaries, it's more university specific. The finance side of things, it does get a bit more complicated. However, you just gotta make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before you get into it. Also think about if you're not doing a distance learning course, you might actually have to move to the place you apply to. And obviously we had that with undergrad. However, when you don't have that maintenance loan to support you, you might not have any left of your master's loan. How are you gonna afford to move? Just make sure you have a little bit saved up in advance if that is the route you're going to go down, and getting a job, finding part-time work, finding full-time work. Some of the master's courses, like the ones I apply to, it's only 1 or 2 days a week, so you kind of work a lot alongside that. So it's not like you don't have time to support yourself, it's just the fact that I recommend planning ahead. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Okay, I have rambled on for a long time now. So I'm gonna finish off here. I do hope you found some of this, if any of this, useful. I will leave some useful links down below that I found useful when researching. And yeah, see you next time.